Hey guys, I know it's been some time. This is my update video as per why I've been gone and all that stuff. I did release another video at the same time as this video, which is a live reaction for Dragon Ball Super. So if you guys are not interested in figuring out what's been going on in my life and stuff like that, you could watch that video. I don't mind. It's fine. But if you were curious as to where I've been and want to know what's been going on in my life and why I haven't been able to do YouTube until now, until recently, then you can continue watching the video. Firstly, I'm sorry for all of you who have lost loved ones, or for any of you subscribers out there. It kind of makes me sad, but there might be some of you out there that aren't around anymore, and it makes me really, really sad about that, especially with this epidemic, this pandemic. It's been crazy. I hope all of you are staying safe and all your loved ones are staying safe, and it's just been crazy, and it's really sad and stuff like that, and a lot of people can't see their loved ones anymore or any of their friends and stuff like that. It's a harsh time. It's a very, very, very hard time for everyone, and hopefully things will get better, and hopefully we'll have a brighter future. Anyways, going back to what's been going on with my life. I spent the better half of 2019, the later half of 2019, mostly in and out of the hospital. I know I did mention that I was having some health issues and stuff like that when I was previously trying to get back, but it just got really, really bad. I was having really bad back pain and my leg pain, and it got to the point where I actually couldn't pee. And once it got to that point, I had to be rushed in for emergency back surgery. And before then, I spent months and months and months trying to get the surgery to prevent it getting that bad, because I didn't want to have any permanent damage or any risk of me potentially becoming paralyzed and stuff like that. And I went to my neurologist, and my neurologist didn't want to do anything. I would constantly go to the hospital saying it would hurt so bad. I would have these issues and stuff like that, and it just got so bad. Sorry about that. I'm back. Anywho, as I was saying, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I was trying to prevent it from getting that bad because I didn't want to have any permanent damage or anything per se, or any complications in the surgery, which there was somewhat of a complications during the surgery, and they just didn't want to do anything up until the point where I just couldn't pee. At that point, yeah, obviously they had to rush me in for surgery. I wanted to do it as an outpatient, but they wanted to do everything before then, which I understand. You know, I was young, but it's just I had such a bad back injury. I just wanted to have it done already and just try to fix it as much as I can. And I know there is risk of surgery and stuff like that, and I understand, but I understand there's insurance reasons and stuff like that, and it's just how America's health system is and stuff like that. But it was getting to the point where I was thinking of going to Cuba and get the surgery, but there's risk there too. So it was a hard time. Anyways, I got rushed to the hospital. Or I didn't get rushed to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and then I got rushed into getting ready for surgery. The next day I had surgery and stuff like that. There was somewhat of a complications. I did had a lot of scar tissue and stuff like that, which did make the surgery last a little bit longer, and they had to do a little bit more cutting and stuff like that to remove all the scar tissue, and it did make the healing process last a little bit longer and stuff like that. But anyways, I went back home, and it didn't end there. Eventually, I did develop an abscess in my wound, even though I took care of it pretty well, and then we cleaned it, and I tried not to push myself, even though I did push myself a little too much. I did start going around and cleaning and stuff like that, just because I don't like staying in bed. I don't like just laying down and not doing anything, so I just couldn't for too long. I was already up to the point where I just wanted to go around and doing stuff already. But I don't think that's what caused the abscess, but it could be, I'm not going to be ignorant there. But anyways, I developed an abscess, and then I had to go back into the hospital, and I stayed like another week in the hospital and stuff like that. Might I say, during all this time of me going in and back and forth of the hospital, and during the surgery and the recovery of the surgery, and then the abscess going to the hospital because of the abscess, I wasn't working, so I would fall behind in the bills and stuff like that. It was very, very stressful time. And I had to get the abscess cured. I had to go on antibiotics, and then afterwards, I had stomach problems because the antibiotics killed all the bacteria in my stomach, and I had to take probiotics. And then later on, I had issues with my gallbladder, and I think I had gallstones, and they were about to remove my gallbladder, but then my gallstones passed, and it's been crazy. I went back and forth in the hospital, and then one of the last times I went back to the hospital, I actually almost died because I had a really bad infection. I still don't know exactly what I had, because Katerina had the flu. She actually got the swine flu, which for a second time she got the swine flu. And this was in November of 2019, I think it was. I think it was November of 2019. I had the surgery in October, I think it was. But before the surgery, I would still go to the hospital a lot because of my back injury and stuff like that. And I would just constantly have sciatic pain. And sometimes I would fall. Like, I would fall in the shower and stuff like that. But, yeah, I think it was November when we got sick. And we were both sick. We were both having really bad fevers and stuff like that. And I'm very stubborn. I like to wait till the last minute to do anything because, you know, we were having stress back then because we were falling behind with the bills. And I didn't want to stop working because I wanted to work as much days as I could just so I could get caught up with the bills. So something just kept happening, and I had to, you know, go back another week to the hospital. But anyways, during this infection, which I tested negative for literally everything while I was in the hospital, I was having such a bad fever. I had a 103 fever and higher. It would go up and down, up and down, up and down. It would go higher and higher and higher. I was having such a bad fever that I was hallucinating at the hospital and stuff like that. I actually, this is embarrassing, but I actually did, you know, poop myself when I was in my bed one time because I was just having such a bad fever. And like, they got me up because I wanted to go to the bathroom, and I just realized that, you know, I pooped myself, and it was embarrassing, but I couldn't control it. I didn't even know. It was crazy. It was crazy. But during all this, my heart rate was extremely high too. And no matter what they would give me, it wouldn't go down. And it was really, really scary. And I honestly thought I was going to die during that time. It was really, really scary. And, you know, looking back on it, I'm like, maybe it was Corona. I don't know. I don't know. And there's actually not a way that I could know, you know? But I don't think so because coronavirus wasn't in the United States at the time because this was November of last year. I mean, coronavirus was a thing back then. I remember when I was having my surgery, I remember reading in the newspapers and stuff like that about what was going on in Wuhan and stuff like that. Maybe it was when I was back because of my abscess. I think it was when I was reading about that stuff. I don't remember when it was started. It's all like a daze because there was so much going on back then. But, you know, they kept testing me and they couldn't pinpoint what it was. And then eventually, after having like 3 different antibiotics and stuff like that, eventually I did get better. But ever since then, my heart rate has been high, and it's been stressful, and I'm constantly scared if I do have heart issues and stuff like that. But obviously my doctors aren't really taking it that seriously and stuff like that, because it fluctuates, and, you know, sometimes I'm okay and sometimes I'm not okay. It's just ever since then, my heart rate has just never been normal. You know, I have my bad days, and I always take my blood pressure and my heart rate and stuff like that. Sorry about that. The computer logged out and stuff like that because I wasn't using it. Where was I? Anyways, I had the infection. I did get better though, but my heart rate never got the same after that. Now the next time I was in the hospital wasn't that serious. It was in January, and I was cutting down a bush, and I almost cut off my pinky toe with a chainsaw. So, but other than that, ever since then, there was only one other occasion, which was in February, which was the second surgery. Yes, I had a second surgery. It wasn't because of my back. It was actually something entirely unrelated. It was my appendix. My appendix was about to rupture. And it's a funny story because it was my first week at my new job. because I started a new job in January, at the end of January. And it was like my first week there, and I didn't know what it was. I was trying to figure out what it was, and I just felt like this gas pain. It was actually up here. It was up higher, because your appendix is like down on your right lower right, I think, right lower abdomen, I think it is, where your appendix is. I don't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, it doesn't matter because I don't have it anymore. So it was about to rupture. I had appendicitis, I think is what it's called. I was in my last hour of work, and I just felt that pain, and I just wanted to go home. So then I went home, but then my other boss, because I was working 2 jobs at a time, called me in saying that they needed me, and me being like, you know what, I need the extra hours. I took it, even though my appendix was about to rupture. I didn't know at the time, but I still continued to go to work, and it just hurt so much to the point where I had to meet up with the other delivery driver. I had to call him, or actually I had to meet up with his wife. I dropped it off at his house because it was just hurting so much. I really wanted to work and help out my job and stuff like that, but it hurt so much, and I had to, you know, leave it to the other delivery driver because he was running late. He wasn't able to come back in time to pick up the deliveries and stuff like that. So I came back, picked up the deliveries, and started some of them. But because it hurt so much, I just left it with his wife, and then I went home. And then I went and took a bath. Katerina was telling me to go to the hospital, and I'm stubborn, and I was like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. Let me take a bath. Let me see if I feel better. Because normally, if I take a bath, it usually makes me feel better. You know, if I take a warm bath and stuff like that. But it was still hurting me in the bath and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, let's go. Went to the hospital. I told him about my pain. I didn't know what it was. I thought it might have been my gallbladder because I had that previous issue with my gallbladder. Turns out it was my appendix. My appendix was about to rupture. They rushed me into surgery. This one was actually quicker than the previous one. And I believe they told me that during surgery, my appendix did rupture in the middle of it. Which I think that it's very common for that to happen, but I believe they told me that I almost bled out during that. So that was another experience. Yes, I mean, when I woke up, I remember the first time when I had the back surgery. When I woke up, I was a little confused the first time. I was like, oh, did they even have the surgery? But I don't remember that. But then I remember waking up a second time, and that I do remember. And I was in a good mood the second time I woke up during the back surgery. Now, when I woke up with the appendix, I was in a bad mood. And the first people I saw that time was actually my mom and my dad. And at the time, I wasn't having the best relationship with my parents. So I guess that made me even more mad, and I lashed out on them and stuff like that even more than I should have, even though I know they were probably worried and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, I had 2 surgeries. I had 2 really bad infections. One of them, I don't know what it even was. It could have been like a virus. It could have been just another infection or something like that. But I still don't know to this day what it was. And I almost cut off my pinky toe. So there was all that stuff. Oh yeah, my gallbladder, my appendix. All that stuff was happening in 2019 and then early 2020. And then on top of that, you know, the whole coronavirus epidemic started and stuff like that. But then also on top of that, we found out that we were having a baby in February. So it was really funny because it was right after my my appendix surgery that we found out. So it was like in the middle of me recovering from it all is when we found out that it was all that we were having our baby. And it was just crazy that in the middle of all this, you know, we started 2020 being like, oh, this is going to be a great year. You know, 2020, the roaring 20s, we started this year going crazy. I think almost everyone did. And then the epidemic happened. And then Katerina got pregnant. It's just so many unexpected things happened. Anyways, we had a beautiful baby girl in October. October 17th is her birthday. She was born early in the morning. She makes me so happy. I love her. She looks a lot like me. which makes me very happy, but makes her mom very, very mad. But I think most babies do look like their dad when they're first born, if I remember correctly. I think I don't remember where I heard this from, but I think someone said, or I think it's something for the babies look like their father when they're first born, just so the father would bond with babies. I think it's something biologically that happens. So I don't know yet. As she grows up, we'll see who she looks like more. But as she's been growing, she looks more and more like me. So I think she's gonna turn out like me. Sadly, I don't have the best looks, but I mean, it looks adorable on her. So we'll see. We'll see how she grows up. Anyways, I'm very happy to have her. It's probably the best thing that's happened in my life, especially given the previous circumstances. Also, last year I had to deal with obviously because it was such a stressful situation. I wasn't depressed per se because it was more of a situational thing. I don't like saying that I was depressed because it was more per se because of the situation I was in. Once I, dealt with that situation, I was a lot better and stuff like that. But I was very down with, especially with all the stress of, before having the back surgery, all the stress of the frustration of not having the back surgery and having the back pain and, feeling useless because I wasn't able to work as hard as I could or do as many things as I could because I kept having these back issues and stuff like that. And then the stress of, when I did have the back surgery, it's just, not being able to pay the bills, falling behind, financial struggles and stuff like that. But I am doing a lot better. I did go to therapy. He helped me deal with a lot of things, personally, especially some of my past issues. I feel like maybe I could go for more surgery or therapy. Not surgery. Not surgery. Please, no more surgery. But more therapy. But I am doing a lot better now, and I do feel in a better place now and stuff like that. So I'm glad for that, and I hope, I know there's a lot of people out there that are going through these struggles that I went through, where they're going through the hospital and stuff like that, and where they're having financial struggles and stuff like that, especially now during the epidemic and stuff like that. So I can relate to that because I went through that in 2019, and luckily, thankfully, I am blessed that I haven't had to deal with that so much this year. I have maintained my job because I do work an essential job. On top of that, I haven't been getting sick or anything like that. I haven't gone to the hospital, so I'm extremely lucky, extremely blessed. But the epidemic's still going on, so knock on wood, and nothing bad happens. And I hope nothing bad happens to any of you as well. On top of that, I hope everyone stays safe, and I hope everyone's family members stay safe. I have heard of a few people that have lost people, and it's hard. It's hard. It's a hard situation, especially when I think the hardest part is sometimes some people aren't even able to go through their funerals and stuff like that. They're not allowed to travel, and then during these times, during the holidays and stuff like that, they're not able to see their friends and families and loved ones. It's just so hard. It's so rough, but just stay strong, stay safe. Hopefully things will get better in the future, and I guess I'll end the video with that. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to ask any questions. I also did start a Patreon. I do have some perks available on Patreon. If you guys want to, donate, that's up to you. I'll try to make it worthwhile. I'm still figuring it all out. I'm slowly starting to get back on YouTube and stuff like that. I have to learn everything that's new and stuff like that. I know quite a few things have changed, and quite a few policies have changed as well on top of that. So anyways, I hope you have a good day, a good night, and I hope I'll see you guys soon. I guess I'll end the video with that. Bye.